Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and coming out of PAX, we got an interesting video from Gavin Verhey, and I'm going to break it down because I thought it was very interesting. It's 3 mechanics that you will, I guess, never see. I have a feeling never might be a little generous, let's put it that way. So, you guys know Mark's a designer, but so is Gavin Verhey, and he designed, personally, I think all 3 of these, if I'm not mistaken. So, first up, we've got Gunk, and let me know what you think about all these in the comments section, because I have opinions on it, but feel free to start typing before I give mine. So, Gunk would be usually recurring, usually based on slugs, because these were on some test cards that didn't make it past play testing, but it would be a typically like recurring type of thing where you would just stuff their library with useless crap. So you would literally generate a Gunk token and or multiple and then shuffle them into your opponent's library. Now, recurring shuffling every time it goes off, highly annoying, very disruptive and physical, but not, the end of the world. I mean, fetch lands, would it be worse than that? So I think people could get past the shuffle thing. It wouldn't slow the game down that much. And in digital, it wouldn't be a problem at all. But the example I saw was you'd add 3 Gunk tokens. So let's say they got 40 cards left. You're adding about a 7% failure rate to their each card draw. Some may think, 7%, but like how many cards do they draw? And then the more cards they draw, the more it would affect them. So it would be an amazing way to disrupt strategies that rely heavily on draw, also known as control strategies. I'm sure there's other things, but we all know that was the first thing that came to mind was some black, white, blue Esper crap. So, everything is counterspells, kill, draw, scry, and then manlands. Or the same thing, and then planeswalkers. Something that survives a board wipe. So you just keep nuking, and then you just keep progressing, hitting them with an unstoppable, thing that can't even be targeted off their turn, basically. And the only way to beat them right now is blitz. And if your deck doesn't blitz, you just lose. So they think that fast versus mid-range versus slow is a good balance when everybody in the community is telling them otherwise. So I say I like Gunk because it will absolutely disrupt the holy crap out of a draw deck. But if they just limited it to like one plane, one archetype, one time, that isn't going far enough. That wouldn't really solve the problem. Although it would be in standard for 3 years. Approximately. So I don't know, like if it was colorless, would it be a sideboard? Would it just be black? Would it be green? But I say it doesn't go far enough. I say make it Gunk tokens, but instead of Gunk where they just draw a dead card, make it harm them. When you draw this card, take 5 damage and then discard it. When a player draws this card, discard a card and this card. Discard your whole hand. Sacrifice half the permanents in play. They could call it a sabotage token, a bomb token. I don't care what they call it. I want it. Because I want to punish people who draw too damn much. Because what is there right now? There's nothing. There's no way to stop these stupid, I always have 7 cards in hand, ha 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 fun, and they're all control, and I'm beating you with this unstoppable permanent. It's so annoying. That archetype is just complete and utter ass cancer to play against. So not only do I think they should do this, but they don't go far enough with it. It needs to actually be landmines in their library. Now, they said logistical error is too much shuffling, and then you got to remember to give the cards back. You got to take them out. I guess they didn't say if you have the same colored sleeves, but yeah, that would be a problem. I don't know about you, but all my tokens are just in penny sleeves, so you'd spot that pretty quick. And if you accidentally leave one in, whatever, take it out. That's easy to correct. Like, okay, in high tournament rules, you might have a whole fit over it, but you just be like, yeah, I forgot, and you forgot, and let's just move on with life. So give me them all back, and give me this one back, and okay, we're good. Draw the next card. Like, it's pretty easy to correct. But the friction coefficient of the card's coatings, that is a problem. Hyper slipperies, real like vinyl printed stuff, or PVC, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Mixed with like the high friction ones and then double sleeve versus not, that is a problem because in physical it would not shuffle correctly. In a digital it would work if the shuffler and card draw system was remotely random and fair on Arena. And since it isn't, I don't think they're going to implement this. But boy, do I want it. So next up, we've got Booster Tutor as a mechanic. So Booster Tutor, it's an uncard that says you may open a booster pack, choose a card from it, and then add it to your hand, I believe, or drop it into play. I don't know, something like that. What more is there to say about this? He said it would have logistical issues. Yeah. What if you don't have a sealed pack nearby? Do you just have to keep a bunch of sealed packs near you? What if you're not playing in a store? What if the store is sold out? This is just thinly veiled, hey, buy more crap. Like your deck now has an ongoing mandatory cost. Just everything's wrong with this. It's stupid and I hate it. I don't really like interacting with anything outside the deck. So this is going to be a no from me, bro, but it was going to be an Ixalan. It was going to be a pirate mechanic. And then they changed their mind at the last second. Oh, we dodged a bullet on that one. So this level of stupidity where, haha, it's so funny and wacky and zany, I have to get out my wallet and drop a $5 on a booster pack. If we're even playing in a store, like, no, dude. Plus, they said years ago they want to move away from luck and move to skill and decision making, so they loved modal spells, and then they just completely forgot that they said that and stopped doing it. Because they said anybody could rely on a good deck, kind of run it competently-ish, and then just have luck win, which is why all the dice roll, coin flip crap, and the, oh, I happened to pull the right card instead of a land, now I win, woo! They wanted less of that and more, okay, I can do 4 different things with this spell. When's the best time to cast the spell and what's the best way to use it? Should I hold on to it longer or should I play it now? My opponent's playing this, which means that they're probably running this, which means I'll probably need it later, so I'll hold on to it. So that's wisdom, player skill, experience, and then the best player wins instead of just, I got lucky. Well, opening a booster pack and hoping something's good in it is luck. That's pure luck. It's stupid. It's expensive. Nothing is good about this. Absolute 0 out of 10. Do not do this. The third one is just basically extra deck. I mean, he didn't name it, but it's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Already calls an extra deck. It sounds cool, and they've already done it. Now, people online are saying they've done it twice. They've done it 4 times. And those are only the times I've thought of it, so it's probably 5. 1, they have a card way back in the day that you could take X amount of planes out of your deck, out of your library, and put them into exile, and then once per upkeep, you could play that instead if you needed another planes, or in addition to drawing. I don't remember how it works, but you could consider that an extra deck. I mean, it's the exile zone, but it's an extra deck. You're like, oh, let me pull from just my land deck. You know, you kind of assemble the deck on the fly. It's close. It works just like it, but it thins out your deck at the same time. So, okay. Second time was contraptions, okay? I played this in paper. It was amazing. I loved it. Everybody loved it. Everybody online was like, yeah, extra deck contraptions. And they're like unique, and you don't know what you're going to pull. It's just kind of like the chance or the community chest cards from Monopoly. It's just this extra little thing that you're like, oh, this is random. Cool. But then they already did it on Alchemy. They have the spell book, which is like, hey, take one of 8 things from the spell book, generate a spell and then put it in your hand. And it's random. You don't know what it's going to be. So they already did it on Alchemy. But they're saying that they want to take the casual one. Oh, I should mention the other unset had amusements, the Space Carnival one. They basically brought back contraptions, but it was amusements this time. And if anybody played that set, I'm sure they would have loved it. But nobody bought that product because the only people left in the community after they drove away all the positive players are a bunch of power gaming, net decking tier 1 douchebags who don't know what fun is and don't want to have it. Oops, bad time to release an unset. But people really like that extra deck stuff where it's kind of like generate a thing, bring out a permanent, have a thing happen, but you don't really know what it's going to be. And then I'd even add the 5th one. Here we go, Plane Chase. Plane Chase is literally the definition of an extra deck because it's an extra mechanic. It's a non-interactive permanent that just, it's supposed to represent what plane you're on. So you can have, I think, up to 40, is that what it is? Planes, and then every time you planes walk, now you're on this place, and so black spells work better. Or when creatures die, they do this. Or whenever you life gain more because you're on a life gain friendly plane. So it's just like this little meta thing where you're like in a different arena battling, but then the rest of your deck just goes along with it. Plane Chase is my number 1 favorite version of Magic the Gathering ever, hands down. Nothing even comes close. Well, except for the next best extra deck thing, which was the Ixalan board game, where they had little tiles and you had to get to the middle. They were kind of going for a little bit of a Catan vibe, if you look at it, just saying. But those were just like hidden random treasures, and I think as you got closer to the center, they got better or something like that. So, like, that was cool as hell. So they've actually done it 6 times, and every single time I've ever seen it implemented, people liked it, or were at least neutral on it. So he thought about all that and was like, well, we should just do that. But then they've never found out a way to make it fair, make it work. So this is, the most generic of it. We'll have an extra deck that does something, but we'll put it into competitive constructed instead of little side casual stuff and, fun unsets. And I'll tell you, when they brought out contraptions, everybody online was saying they need to do this in standard constructed. This is amazing. Well, okay, logistically, you needed bigger deck box because now you got to put more cards in it. But I don't know about you. I've had decks where they generate so many angels, sphinxes, birds that I've got to have 50 of them sleeved in a separate deck box. Okay, I have no shortage of deck boxes. It's not a big deal. Then I guess you got to remember to shuffle both. You got to keep your eyes on both for anti-cheating. That's whatever. Okay. But if you just say, well, generate a 9/9 golem token, and then there's no randomness, all you're doing is adding randomness. Like you'd have, I don't know, 15 big robot gear hulks in your extra deck, and then something triggers, oh, pull one from your extra deck and put it into play. The only thing you're doing is creating basically a token that is a real permanent card instead of a token. And then, adding a little bit of randomization, which is literally what they did with Spellbook on Alchemy. And if anybody played Alchemy, I'm sure we'd have all kinds of opinions on whether people like that or not. I think the Hearthstone people liked it, and the anti-Hearthstone people hated it because that's how Hearthstone plays. I don't like additional randomization because randomization is luck. Like I said before, you want more skill and decision than luck. Maybe that's why they shelved it, or they just couldn't find an opportunity to make it work. Or they just didn't want to sell people partial sleeve packs, or I don't know, I always got like weird colored sleeves that just come out of nowhere. Like, oh, I have 50 sleeves instead of 60. Don't know how that happened. Well, let's sleeve up another deck. If you buy a pack of 100, you go 60 plus 15 for the sideboard. That already adds up to, okay, well, the extra deck will sleeve that differently. Who doesn't have sleeves? Come on, spare sleeves. Worst case, it costs you $2 in extra accessories. I don't think that's the end of it. I just can't think of any way they would implement it. I don't think it would be positive for the game because it's just more randomization. So it would make it more fun, exciting, and dynamic, but you'd feel like you won because of luck instead of skill, and they want to move away from that. So how would you do this? How would you make this work? And what if you kept not getting what you needed off of both decks? Like you top deck, I top deck the land. Okay, well, let's go to the extra deck with this effect. Let's pay 8 mana that's not the card I needed either. Like it's just twice the disappointment. You could say it's twice the chances, but I don't know. That's what they call an up in variance and an up in game swing, which you don't want either of those things. So I went over it in my head for like 30 minutes and can't find a way to implement this where it would work in competitive play. And that's why he said he's cooled off on the idea, and that's it. The others, like, logistically would not work. We're not doing it. And this whole thing was phrased as like, here's 3 mechanics that you will never see because we've given up on them. But it sounded like he kind of wanted to do this last one. And I don't think they should. I'm on the fence. I think they would be kind of fun. I don't think it would be fair or competitive or good, which means just leave it for the unsets. Do all the extra deck stuff in the unsets so that everybody would buy that just to play that because it's fun once in a while, But what do you think? That's the most controversial one. I want to know what you guys think about all 3 of these. Should they be implemented? Is there a better way to do it? Is there a worse way to do it? Whatever you want to comment, leave it down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.